In every web application, having dynamic data or user input is very important, which is done by using forms. So in this video, we will see how we can create a simple form using Django as well as how we can use model forms. So without wasting any further time, let's get started. Well, hi, I'm Shubham and subscribe to become a better software developer. So what is a Django form? Django form is nothing but Python classes that represents HTML form and also handles the data. It provides a convenient way of handling the user data as well as processing the data, validating the data. So what are the different types of forms in Django? Well, I classify it into two different ones. One is simple form and one is model form. So we are going to take a look at both of them. So before getting started, well, let me tell you that we are going to create a form that will allow the user to enter the post models details and save it to the database. So let's get started. In order to start, we have to create a file called as forms.py. And in this one, we need to import forms. So that comes from Django. So from Django, import forms. And also we need to import our model. So from .models import post model. First, we are going to create a simple form that will allow us to enter all this data, but we are not going to make use of that. But we are going to create a model form that will use throughout the video. And the reason behind me telling you or creating this simple form is so that you can understand that there is something called as that form also, and you can create without model form and use it in like your code if required. So let's get started. For that, we'll create a class called a simple form or simple post form. You can name anything, okay? Form, and we'll use forms dot form. Since it is a simple form, so we are using form. And over here we have to create the attributes, which will be the input boxes in the HTML field. So first we'll create title, and in model it is character field, right? So for forms also it will be a character field, and we have to do it as forms.character field. Then we have slug. So slug will be also forms.character field. Then if we see, we have content, which is a text field. So for text field in forms, we should have it is content equal to forms.text input. So this will convert it into text area on the front end. And we will have status. Well, status is not really required because by default we have draft as status. And then we have hero image. Like you can do this, you can do owner also. Let me show you for hero image, okay? So hero image is equal to forms.image field. And likewise you can have multiple input boxes or in like attributes that will be converted to input boxes on the front end. And finally we have to give something called as class meta. This will define what fields that you have declared over here or what fields present in the model should be shown to the user. So for that we have to say fields, and this can be list or like set. So from here we have to mention title, then slug. We can also give content and in double quotes please, and hero image. So like this you can create a simple form. You can use this and write your own logic to create, save data, update data, but that doesn't make sense like writing each and everything from scratch. We are using Django because we want to reduce these codes. So let's see the other one, that is model form. So I'll call it as post form, and we'll take in forms dot model form. And over here we are not going to give anything like this. We are not going to create anything like this. This will come from the model itself, okay? So over here we are going to just say class meta, and in this one also we need to specify fields, but before fields we need to specify model. So it is small model, and which model we want to use. So we want to use this post model. So we are going to paste it over here. Since we have already imported, so it won't throw any error. And now from the post model, which all fields we want to show to the user, or like we want to show the user to fill. So I'll copy all this. Please note, we have not created these fields over here, but we can use it because it is present in this model over here, like title, slug, content, all these things. Let's add status also. status and owner also. Let me format the document. And you know what, you can explicitly specify what fields to be excluded. So for that there's one more thing called as exclude equal to, and in this one you can specify the fields. So if you notice, we have create updated model, so that means we have this created at and updated at. So we need not show these to the user because these will be pre-filled by the Django itself, because we have specified auto now true, auto now true. So let's hide these, or means like exclude these. So created at, updated at. See, we could have not written this also and it would have worked, because we have specified whatever fields we want in the fields attribute. Okay, but just for y'all to understand, so that's why I have done this. Now let's save this. We'll create a new file for the views and we'll call it as view_form.py. We'll import from dot import models forms, and let's create a function that will load a template and show this form. Okay, so def index, this will take in request. This is normal thing that we are creating, and over here one thing extra will be form equal to forms.postForm. Okay, so we are using this form, and we'll say if request dot method is equal to post. If the method is post, then we will do something else. Actually, let me put 3 dots. So your pass and 3 dots are almost same. You can write code later on for that. And over here we'll return with render. So render request, and then we need to specify a template. So let's create one template after this, and for now we'll say post underscore create dot html. We will create this soon, and in this one we need to pass form. Okay, so I'll call it as form is to form in context dictionary, as like context dictionary. So we are passing form as form. Okay, and one thing that we need to do is we need to import it. So from Django.shortcuts import render. We'll also import redirect. Let's save this, format, done. Now we'll go and create our post create HTML. Okay, so it should come in template. So I will create a new file, paste it. Let me do, okay, emit is not working because I have selected a Django template. So let me quickly change it, and we have this code with SJ. And whenever we are using the form, right, we have to do something. So we have to create form element into the HTML file. Action you can leave it blank because we want to like submit on the same URL, so that's why action can be blank. Method should be post, and in this one there are 2-3 ways of showing the form. I'll show you all 3. So form.as table, so this will be shown in table, or you can show the form as form.as ul. This is a new one added, and third one is form.as p, as paragraph. So I don't really like using these two. I use it as paragraph mostly. So I'll remove these two for now. And whenever you have a form, you should know that there should be a CSRF token into Django. All the issues that we were facing, that will be eliminated with this way. So in order to pass CSRF token, we have to create an input box. So I'll create an input. We'll keep it hidden because we don't want to show it to user. Then we'll give it a name. A name should be specific, CSRF middleware token. This should be the name of it, CSRF middleware token. And value will be, let me bring this on next line, and the value will be CSRF underscore token. So in this form we have shown the form from the model, or from the views that we are passing. We are showing that. Then also along with that we are also creating an input box which is hidden, and name is CSRF middleware token, and value is CSRF token. This will eliminate all the CSRF related issues. And finally, in order to submit the form, we need a button, right? So I'll create a button, and the type will be equal to submit, and I'll say create blog. Save this. Our HTML file is ready. Now one more thing we need to do is we need to go to urls.py and create our URL. So first we'll import view form, and I'll copy paste this and we'll go down. Let me actually hide this one, that is not required as of now. We'll say form dash index. Okay, I'll name this also same thing, form dash index, and this will come from view form dot index. Let's save this and see on the browser. So make sure your environment is running. Python manage.py run server. My Python spelling is wrong. Lovely. I'll go to this URL. Let me type it out here, and we'll go to form dash index. Wow. If you see, when I go to form dash index, we have title, slug, content, hero image, status, and owner. These fields are already present. Why? Where did we create it? We did not. We actually did is on the front end, we just printed this form as P, that means as paragraph. Then in views, we have taken form as forms.postForm, which is in the forms.py model form, where we are taking model as post and we are specifying these fields. So only those fields which are specified over here are coming over here. So that means Django was easily able to convert Python models attribute or model fields into forms, which is lovely. That is what we wanted, right? Now there are few more things that we need to do. We'll go to view underscore form. In this form, right here, we have not passed anything, but what we can do is we can pass request.post, which means whatever data will be submitted from here, right, will be given to this. And we of course need to check the form, check the fields whether they are valid or not, and then save the data, correct? So for that, we can do is if form.isValid, is valid. If the form is valid, then save the data. So that means form.save. Else we need to return with issues, correct? So it will come out of this loop and it will go over here and show all the issues. You might be wondering how. Let me just show you. Just wait for a few minutes, okay? And once form is valid and form data is saved, let's send him back to the place where we have all the data available, basically the query set from the previous video. So we'll do is return redirect orm dash, let me check the URL, it is orm dash index. So orm dash index, we will send the user to this particular URL. Now let me go over here, refresh this. If you see, we are already getting something. This field is required, this field is required, everything. Now let's say I add a test data, okay? Test, some test, okay? Field, we can choose crash course. I'll say draft itself owner as admin. And if we click on create blog, it came over here to this URL because that is what we have specified. And we have specified it only when form is valid and form saves the data. And if you look over here, you can see ID number 3 is there, whose title is test, content is also test, hero image, okay, I guess hero image had some issue, but yeah, rest of the things have been like saved properly. Even created at and updated at worked. So how did this work, and what if we had some issues? So let me answer you first question, how did it work? It worked because whenever the request method is post, we check whether form is valid or not and then save the data. So this is how data was saved in the database and it was displayed over here. And if it had errors, then let me show you how it would have worked. Okay, we are come back to this URL, we'll enter test. We'll select something. I'm not sure if this is working or not. Okay, let's see, public draft admin, and if I click on save, it came back to the same form with the data still present, and it says post with this title already exists, post with slug field already exists. Why are these errors coming? Let's go back to our model and see. Title field should be unique, slug field should be unique. So you see, it was not just validating, it was not just saving the data, but also it was validating all the fields whatever with the whatever conditions. So that's why I can say that it is working perfectly fine and also validating the data. Now if you ask me again, Shubham, why such big code just to save data and redirect it to proper place and for validation? Can we have simpler way? Yes, definitely there is a simpler way. This is using function based views, right? Now let's shift to class based views. For that I will make one more import, actually two. So from Django views import generic, and from Django URLs import reverse lazy. Okay, URLs. Now let's create our first class based views using forms. You will be blown away with this. Okay, I'll say post view. Okay, I'll call it as post view, and over here we'll take generic dot create view because we want to create data, correct? And in this one we need to specify only few things and it will work as efficiently as possible. So we need to specify template name, although if we don't specify template name, it will take by default template, and let me show you which template it will take. Okay, go to generic because that is where we are, and we can't find the generic. Okay, let me go back over here and let's search for create view. In this one, if we see template name, okay, it is none. Okay, so we might require one, and when we do is update view, here also template is none. Okay, we need to specify the template, and definitely you can go and use this website. It is really helpful. Here I can see all the attributes of the class and all the methods of the class. So I always use this to help me. Okay, now let's go back over here. Let's specify the template name. Template name will be same, that is post underscore create .html, and then we need to specify form underscore class. This class form will be the same one what we have used over here, so forms.postform. And finally, when the data is successfully created, where do you want to send the user? So for that there's something called a success URL. Okay, and this will use is reverse lazy. If we use reverse over here, it gives circular error, so that's why we have to use reverse lazy, and I'll send him to the same place. Let's save this and let me format the document. Done. Now we'll go back to the URLs, copy paste, and we'll say form index. Actually, let's call it as form CBV index. That means form class based view index. And over here we'll use post view. And whenever we have class based views, we need to specify as view. So don't forget that. Let's save this and we'll go to this URL. And if you see, it is same. What is the difference? Let's try to first test the issue one where we enter the same data. Let's say admin also create blog, and it is giving me same errors. Post with this title already exists, post with this slug field already exists, and we are on this URL. How is that possible? That is totally possible because we are using class based views. So these many lines of code are replaced with only these many lines of code, which is like phenomenal, I believe. So what if we have new one, test title 2 test 2, and if I click on create blog, it went to ORM index, which is true, which is what we wanted, And if we see over here, test2 is added, test2 is added. Lovely. So this is what I wanted to show you. And because of this reason, I wasn't using the simple form, because when we use this, right, we had to write each and every logic of how data will be saved from here and how data will be updated. So now let's move to update view over here. We'll create post update view, and this will be update view. Template again will use same. Template need not be changed in this. Form class also same. And in this one extra thing we have to specify, that is model, okay, because it needs to operate on a model. So we'll call it as models dot post model post, okay, and rest of the things will remain same. Let's go to our URLs, copy paste, we'll say form CBV update, okay, we'll take over here also update. And in this one, whenever you want to update anything, you need to have a URL, basically a ID in the URL bar. So for that I'm going to do this post basically int, and we'll call it as pk. This means we need a pk ID of the type int, so that's why this is the format. And we'll update view, okay. So only extra thing in this one we have done is, after this we have specified index, okay. Now let's go to this one. Wait, let me format, save. We'll go over here, we'll duplicate this, okay. We'll go to index, and if we go over here, we have this, right, one ID. So we'll put 1 over here. It is pk is nothing but ID itself, so we can use this 1 and 1 over here. And if you see, we have some data already present. First post, new updated title, which is present over here. Some content. Let's update this, okay. Some new content, first post -1, and we'll call it as new title. Let's create, and if we click on this, you can see new title, first post 1. And if we go back over here and refresh this page, as you can see, we have been able to successfully update the data without writing much of code. All we did is received a pk or ID in the URL, and in views we have just specified update view. We have inherited the update view. We have specified the model, we have specified template, we have specified the form class and success URL, and that's it. It is this easy to save and create data by making use of model forms. So I hope you were able to understand model forms. So that's it for this video, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye. My Python spelling is wrong. Lovely. In every web application having dynamic data or user input validate